Alrighty then, we are back with episode 32 of the Midnight Release podcast. Back with one of the OG guests in the studio today. We have Oh No It's Cocoa. Before we jump into any conversation, Coco, let the people know where they can find you, what you're working on, any special projects or anything really that you want to promote.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me, Ghost. My name's Coco. You can find me mainly on YouTube, 3 nights a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Streaming, playing some Pokemon, Fortnite, among other things, just kind of hanging out. You can also find me on Twitter by the same handle, which is Oh No It's Coco, and TikTok as well. Working on anything right now? Let me think. Nothing like in particular, nothing major. Gearing up for the 24-hour stream that I do in November. Already starting to prep for that a little bit, which is crazy.
Wait, how are
But
you prepping for that?
man, so I cat's out of the bag. This isn't really out there yet, but uh I was going to do, everything I do is so Pokemon centric, for the most part. I thought, what a way to raise money for sick kids on my Pokemon stream. That's going to be 24 hours by like getting donations from content creators and shops that are like all Pokemon related. And then if people donate, for every $5 they donate, they get basically like, like as many spots on the wheel. Like if they donate 50, they get 10. And then every hour I'm giving something away, spinning the wheel. So like trying to get something from like, content creators and things like that are like Pokemon related. And like, let's say like it's a graded slab, like a card, right? Um, I'll basically like, it's like, 4 in the afternoon and it's this person's turn. Here's what we got. This was given to us by so and so. This is their, these are their socials. You can go click here for their links. Super cool creator. Let's go ahead and spin the wheel. Um, so the earlier you donate and the earlier you get in, the more spins you're involved with. So that's what I'm working on now. Just reaching out to content creators. Trying to put all that together and think of who all I should ask and stuff like that. So
Are you going to play Pokemon for the entirety of that stream?
mm, I haven't decided yet. That would mean
That'd be
that
tough.
it would be very tough. As much as I love Pokemon, it would be very tough. Um, I could see doing something where like maybe we switch up the game and do like different types of games, like maybe like the online TCG for a bit. Maybe doing some shiny hunting on this and different things. So maybe TBD, but I don't know yet for my sanity. That might be tough.
Right. And for those of
Yeah.
you who don't know, Coco has been doing Extra Life
Yeah.
for a
Extra.
very,
Yeah.
very long time and has raised a significant amount of cash for that charity. And it's I'm trying to remember exactly what it's for, but it's is it just gaming like centric like charity events, or what was the
Well,
original kind of how they launched?
basically, it's like if you've ever done Relay for Life. It's like Relay for Life, which if okay, I guess if you're not aware of that, it's like you raise money over like a period of time, and then you have like one day where for 24 hours you have to build a team who's gonna like walk for 24
Yeah,
hours.
kind of like
Um,
March for Dimes.
yeah, a little bit, but instead, I mean, you can run it however you want, but it's playing video games or tabletop games for 24 hours. And the way I've done it every single year, which this will be my ninth year doing it, it's just me, 24 hours gaming, and the money goes to like people can play, around the country as well as I think Canada, and all the money they raise goes to whichever children's hospital they choose, which most of them are like most of the network of children's hospitals are like partake in it. So I do the one locally to me, which is Dayton Children's Hospital in Dayton, Ohio,
Shout
and
out,
shout out, yeah, and we're over $10,000 lifetime, which is awesome.
dude. That is that's so crazy. It's so crazy for playing games too. So whenever someone tells you games is a waste of time, you're like, actually,
That
not so
it's actually
much.
that's the thing I bring up like pretty often is like people ask like why I do the charity thing every year. Um because it's like a stress, right? Like it's a stress on you the day of, like or preparing for it is a stress. It's a stress on your family and like things like that for the day.
Yeah.
But it's like it's such a good way to give back, which is always important, right? Everyone always says it's important to give back, and it is. But it's also a way to show that like gamers are not just like degenerates in their mom's basement, right? Like that's like the stigma we've had for how
Right.
many years. So it's like it's a way to show that
Decades.
like we
Still.
yeah, yeah, still.
Still.
It's a good way to, prove that we give back and we do care about our community and we do have a place and everything like that. So it's awesome.
Man, that I've only done a couple of those charity events.
Mm,
Been like part of a St. Jude team, which is really cool. Did like a Release Atlanta one, which
I remember
was
that one.
yeah, like
Yeah.
a charity for pets, basically. It was a lot
Yeah.
of rehoming of dogs. You can't really do the cat side of that. I mean, you can, but this doesn't really go with their theme.
Sure.
Uh,
Sure.
it's like a dog focused charity. It's fun though, man. It really is. It's like it's very addicting. I think like I feel like people they also want to feel like everyone gets to feel good. It's the winner is
Yeah,
ultimately the charity, but everyone so you could say selfishly, you donate to feel good about yourself type of thing, which is
yeah,
totally
of
fine
course.
too.
Of
But
course.
10K is an insane number. Like that
Yeah,
is
we just hit
baffling.
that last year. We hit 10K. Um and it was awesome. So that was really cool. I think I may have been the first person to do it for my hospital, which is cool.
Do they
But
do
yeah.
they reach out and like recognize like
Yeah,
any
like
kind
it and
of
and
like
you know,
come hang out at the hospital type thing?
they do stuff like that. Usually they'll invite you like once a year to come out to the hospital like if you want to like be shown around and things like that. Extra life as well as like the individual hospitals will also like get you rewards along the way. So like if you raise like $100 you get the t-shirt for the year. um Things like that. I got like a rug for my
You got
gaming
a
room,
rug?
which yeah, I got a rug for the room. It's like 3 foot by 6 foot. It's like a decent sized rug, and it's got like the extra life stuff on there and gaming stuff, which
That's
is
so
super
cool.
cool. They've done like gaming chairs in the past. I think this year the bigger one is like a extra life themed custom controller, which is cool. And you can pick like if you want an Xbox, PlayStation, or Switch controller, like Pro controller.
Okay.
So that's super cool. And then like each year, like if you raise $1,000, they send you a gold medal. If you raise like $500, it's a silver medal. So yeah, they give you an incentive to push.
Oh,
Sorry, I hit a mute button. They give you incentive to raise more money and things like that. So it's super
you have
cool.
to. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
small investment for
yeah,
them.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so rad, man. This makes me feel bad. I feel like I need to do some more charity stuff. It's such a natural time of the year, around the holidays to do that
Hmm.
stuff. It's witness. I will pledge to do a charity drive this year. I always like the
Ooh.
food ones, and I always like the animal ones. Um, I don't know. I like and it really bums me out seeing.
There's really like not a bad cause. Like no
Right,
matter what you
right,
pick, like the people who have like a charity raising money for them, they need it. You know what I
right,
mean? So
right, right.
so it's always, whichever one you pick is for a good cause. Whichever one you kind of, resonates with you.
Yeah, yeah. I like doing the animal ones a lot. I've always done like my Eagle Scout project was at an animal shelter, um, back when I was a youth, and I don't know. It's cool. It's fun. It's like very rewarding, and you feel good about yourself, and the people you're helping get some cash. I'm not trying to argue that charities are bad. I know that's what it sounds like here. I'm just saying it's cool, and 10K is like extremely significant, and
And
you
you
should
you
feel
know
pumped
what
on that.
it's all these people like, one thing I always think about is like There's a lot of people that look at that and they're like, "Wow, that's so cool that you do that," and things like that. The one thing that's kind of crazy that a lot of people like, if you've never done one, like a charity thing, you probably don't think about it. It is so weird to ask people for money. It is so odd to be like even if it is for a good cause, you kind of have like this thing where you're like, I don't know, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to, but like you're there for a reason, you know?
Right.
So it's like
Right.
this constant like, oh, am I being too pushy? Oh no, it's for a good cause. You
You know
know what I
what?
mean? So
I'm gonna push back on that, and I'm gonna say if you came to the charity event, if you showed up,
fair.
the expectation you're not there. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
on you, the
No,
viewer.
I totally
Yeah.
get it, but it's awkward as the person asking for the money.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely
I
a
don't know. If you
weirder
show
side
up
of
to
it.
the event, I'm I'm kind of expecting you to like you didn't have to
Yeah.
come. You knew what this was. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
for sure,
That's
for
how I
sure.
feel, and you don't have to
It is good.
donate.
I mean,
You
but
know,
like for
you don't have
24
to.
hours though, I do appreciate the people that just pop in to keep me company, you know, because it's a long time.
What section of hours is the true demon hours where it's just you're like no one's here? I'm thinking noon to 4 a.m. Noon, midnight to 4 a.m. somewhere in
No,
there.
because you know, it's actually more like you're close. It's like 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. because for midnight, you still have some West Coasters.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you have some people, if you got some night owls on the West Coast, they stay up. But like 4 a.m., dude, nobody's
Oh, because
awake.
you're covered till 3 a.m. East Coast. Okay. Because of
Dude,
the West Coasters.
nobody, yeah, nobody is awake. Nobody's awake.
4
It's
a.m.
like you talk and it echoes. Like you can hear the echo in there. It's
Your screen's
wild.
getting dusty
Yeah.
in real time.
Yeah.
The sunrise hours.
Yeah, 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 exactly.
That's the dude. It's crazy. It's always funny every year you do it because I always be in there when you start. Like the because you start at night. When do you start? You
Yeah,
start
I start at
to
midnight. I start
okay,
at
so it
midnight,
ends during the
at
daytime.
midnight. No, no, no,
Or no, it
midnight
ends
to midnight.
midnight to midnight. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Midnight
Um,
to midnight.
and you do that so you can go to bed and it's still like normal hours,
Yeah,
right?
like
Okay.
one time I tried doing like someone was like, "You should just start at like 8 p.m." And I was like, "Okay, I can try that." And I tried it and it was like cuz you don't get any sleep before 8 p.m. You really can't get any sleep.
Right.
So like you're really up for like 36, 40 hours, something like that. It was tough.
Um,
But yeah, if I go midnight to midnight, it's like maybe I can get a short nap in, get some energy, and then
I guess
to
you
like
yeah.
push through those really rough hours. And then like as people come in, it kind of gets your adrenaline going and you
Right,
get a
right,
couple
right.
donations, stuff like that. And then it's like, you know, when you're gaming, all you gotta do is like, I just gotta game like a normal session and make it till midnight, you know? Like it then it's not too bad. Um, but yeah, that's the way I did midnight to midnight and then I kind of stuck with it.
Dude, the longest stream I've ever done is 12 hours, and
Mm.
I hated it. It's like I never want to do this
I
again.
had I had a fellow content creator, buddy of mine, who once he heard I was doing the 24-hour stream and I did it, he goes, "Dude, that's such a cool idea. I'm doing it." And I said, "Cool. I'm with you. Like, let me know if you have any questions." And um, I can't remember if he did the full 24. I think he did, and then he contacted me after, and he's like, "I do have a question. How the heck do you do that every year?" He's like, "I'm doing it next year, but I'm splitting it into 2 12s because 24 is crazy." I was like, "Yeah,
It's
it's not
it
it's not
sucks.
easy. It's
Yeah,
not
it's
easy."
so when you're doing it though, you're not sitting in the chair for 24 hours, right?
I
do you
take
like
a
take a
couple.
walk or like
Yeah, like I'll take like 15-minute breaks just to like close my eyes, to use the restroom, get up and stretch, you know, stuff like that. Because like
yeah,
if you were literally sitting in the chair for 24 hours with like your eyes just like, you know, focused on the screen, that's rough.
yeah,
A lot of times what I like to do is I'll go outside. Just like
yeah,
during that 15-minute break, I try to go outside so I'm not like I'm not looking at a screen. I've got like a big wide open area to look
right,
at, which
right.
it sounds so silly, but it legit is like pretty important to not just be staring at your screen the whole time. So, but yeah, it's tough. It's tough,
Um,
especially when you're not 20 anymore. You know.
right, right. I was gonna say the guy that I was watching now. I don't really watch his content ever. Is it Sanat? Is that his name? Is that how you say it?
Kai Cenat doing
Yeah, dude.
the Elden Ring stream.
Yeah. Because I
Crazy.
was like, man, 24 hours is crazy. And then I think he said he's streaming until he beats the game, right?
Yeah, but I also think he's streaming himself like and he's sleeping, if I'm not mistaken. I saw some content show up on Twitter today of like him trying to sleep and like someone's TTS waking him up. So, I mean,
Okay.
I don't think he's like doing it straight.
Right. No. I mean, that'd be
I want to
impossible.
say
But
I want to say it was either I want to say it was maybe it's Timmy. I think he either Apexed or Valorant
he apexed. I watched that.
for what was it, 36?
He went from Bronze 4 to Apex Predator in one stream.
Yeah, and wasn't it like 30 or 36
It
hours?
was a
Wasn't it
long,
something
it was a
crazy?
long time. And not and the thing is like you're playing Apex.
Yeah, you're
Dude,
super
it
focused.
is like you're
You don't
hyper
blink.
right.
Yeah,
I
it's
I
crazy.
remember watching the end of that. So he blazes through. I imagine he blazes through
Yeah.
through gold completely, and then like maybe in platinums when it starts to slow down a little bit because your teammates because you can kind of like carry through gold,
Right.
but you can't necessarily carry. Like people
Tougher.
start to
Yeah.
get good better, and in the platinum range. And I just remember him I remember when he was like finally masters or whatever, and then like people were just running up to die on purpose. They're
Oh,
just like,
really?
oh,
That's
yeah, they started
funny.
stream sniping him and like, oh, here, like let me give you some RP and KP, and they were just
Mm.
starting running up to him, and I feel like he was just like, no, I'm gonna get it the right way, and then toward the end he was like, thank God, like please,
Yeah, thank God for those people. Yeah,
that's
that's so
crazy.
funny.
And then you saw a lot of copycats. They didn't do Predator, but they did like to Masters or something. It's
Yeah.
like not the
Yeah.
same. Um, that's dude, that is. I don't know how
Gamer
you.
gamers are a different breed, man.
Yeah, I just don't know how you're back. Well, he's younger, I guess.
Yeah, he's a
Maybe
young dude.
it's gonna affect him 20.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Um, dude, well, I can't wait. I think it's gonna be fun. Are you going to do any just like viewer reward type stuff, or like if you hit a certain dollar amount, are you gonna outside of giveaways? Are you gonna
Yeah, I don't know,
do
like,
anything weird?
a lot of years I try to do something where it's like, "Oh, if I hit this, big dollar number, I'll shave my beard off," things like that, which I've done in the past. I don't know, I haven't thought of anything yet, um, as far as that's concerned, but it's definitely not out of the question. Definitely not out of the question.
When I did mine, I had this big list of things I was gonna do. Didn't get anywhere close to it, but the one that I wanted to do really bad was the blind taste test.
Of
So,
what?
did you ever watch Hell's Kitchen?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, my favorite segment in that is when he makes people wear
Yeah,
blindfolds and the headphones, and
yeah.
then Jay was gonna like cut up a bunch of random foods, and I was gonna try to
Dude,
do
that's
the blind
funny.
taste test. I
That's a great
I
idea.
really want to do it still. You're totally welcome to do it. I think it'd be really funny.
That's a good idea, I like that.
That one. I'm trying to think what else would be like a good viewer reward outside of. I mean, I don't have a beard to shave, but I think it might.
Maybe yours would be if you hit a certain dollar amount, you'll grow a beard.
Let's say like don't shave for 3 months and just see what happens.
Yeah, yeah.
I was gonna say so. With the growth that you've seen on YouTube lately, do you feel like you are in some kind of like flow state, like where everything is just so not that you're doing the same thing every time, but people play like people looking for groups to play with in Fortnite is that seems like crazy popular. People are always looking for parties to play with. Do you see more interaction? Like genuinely curious because Fortnite and Pokemon being the two I mean, being
Mhm.
two monster games and brands right now, and I mean for a long time, but do you see more interaction, interest in your stream content when it comes to Fortnite or Pokemon? And then from those two crowds, I'm sure there's some overlap, but do you feel like one or the other has more staying power? So, someone comes to you and interacts with you, you're doing shiny hunts, do you see that person more often, or do you see more regulars in Fortnite come back?
So yeah, I mean that's definitely interesting. So I think the two audiences of people that come to those streams, they're there for different reasons. I think the Fortnite people there are obviously there because they're looking for somebody to squad up with. They think it's kind of cool that they can game with a streamer as irrelevant as I am as a streamer in the streaming space. I was like what I'm not kidding you. I had someone the other day. They're like, dude, my friend is so jealous I'm playing with you right now. I'm like, he could literally join and play with me too. That's the way it works.
He's like,
Um,
no, 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 I'm not. We're not gonna let him in.
yeah,
Okay.
we can't. But I think they're there because like they're looking for people to play with.
Right.
Um, they a lot of people like to go in and like they'll get in my lobby and then they'll just start showing off skins or things like that. They just like to. I don't know. It's just kind of like silly and fun and just like a good time. I think the Pokemon crowd is there, especially with what I'm doing now, which is a just for the people who aren't familiar, like a shiny only run of Pokemon Fire Red, where the odds are like very much against you to find a shiny. It takes a very long time. It's tedious. I think the people are there, like they're honestly there to like witness it happen, like what you're actually
Right.
doing
Right.
because it's tough.
Lottery.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, so it's tough. I think that's why people kind of hang out. And I think those people too realize like they're probably shiny hunting as well in some way shape or form and they're just like, you can kind of turn off your brain and do that. So they're like, "Hey, I can turn off my brain and do that and chat with a bunch of people at the same time who are into the same thing, doing the same thing at the exact same time." So it's definitely a different it's a different like clearly the audience is different. But
Right.
I still get people that are like clearly Pokemon people hanging out in my Fortnite streams
Sure.
and vice versa.
Sure.
I get people who like met me on a day where I streamed Fortnite and they're like, "When's the next time you stream Fortnite?" And I'm like, "Well, this day, but I'm streaming Pokemon on Saturday." They're like, "Oh, I like Pokemon. Cool, I'll be there." And I'm like, "Sure, buddy." And then they're there, and I'm like,
Right.
"Oh,
Right.
wow,
Right.
okay, great." So I mean, it all just depends, but it switches it up for me, especially when like Pokemon right now is kind of for content creators is kind of in a weird spot because there's no new game like very close on the horizon. Um, there's
When's
no
the next one supposed to come out? Is it
I
the one
don't
in
think it's
France? Is it that one?
I don't know if it takes place in France. It's called Pokemon Legends Z or
Okay.
ZA or something.
Okay. Why did I think
It's
that was in France?
basically it's a Legends game. It might be kind of like loosely based on France, but it's basically a Pokemon Legends game similar to Arceus, but it's based on like Pokemon X and Y
Huh.
on the 3DS, which a lot of people enjoyed, myself included. So I'm excited for the game, but it's nowhere around the corner. I think it's just slated for 2025. My guess is it's going to be the end of the year, but of 2025.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a while. And nothing is announced in between. So sometimes they have these filler games, like Legends Arceus or other things like that, BDSP. Um, so yeah, right now there's kind of a lull in what you can do, and the DLC didn't really add longevity to Scarlet and Violet. So a lot of these content creators with Pokemon are kind of pivoting to either other games, um, I guess you could call them unsanctioned Pokemon games, so like fan made Pokemon games. Or they're going back like I am and they're playing like old Pokemon games and trying to put like a spin back on it to make it more difficult or something like that.
Huh. I don't, man. there are just so many of those to keep track of. And being so far removed, it's just like the whole the lineage, the whole lineage of each game, the whole
Sure.
history. I don't know, dude. It's just like it's such a fascinating company because it's so profitable and they crank out stuff fairly quickly.
Yeah.
On all aspects, be it the card game or the video games. Is Pokemon? Maybe we talked about this before, but are they like a company that listens to its fans often, or are they just like shut up, take what we give you? When it comes to the video game side, I can't speak to the card side, but
Well, so yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard because there's the folks that make Pokemon, which is Game Freak, but then there's Nintendo, and
but they
Nintendo's
have the rights, right? Nintendo.
yeah. So I
Okay.
mean, Nintendo's very much the ones who are just like, shut up, you'll you'll take
Right.
what you
Okay.
get.
That's what I thought.
Um, and Game Freak has been pretty public. I want to say that they really don't want to do the Pokemon games anymore.
What?
That may be
Really?
that yeah, that may be taking it a little bit far, but I think they're,
It makes
you
a better
know,
story.
like they're like under the boot of Nintendo, and they've got such like a dedicated fan base, and you know what it's like to have like a crazy fan base. I mean, like crazy. So they probably don't have that much like creative
They're
direction that they can follow.
right. They're the band that like they have the one song that everyone just yells at them to play. And
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
been 25 years since they released it and they're trying to play
Yeah.
something else. And everyone's like, shut up, play Freebird.
They're
You're
like,
like, all right.
We've moved on. We have like this ska album now."
Right.
No.
Right. And the
No.
lead singer posts something really long. If you were true fans, you'd let us evolve. Shut up.
Yeah.
Play
Yep.
that. Play whatever. Play Dreams. You're like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
I didn't
it's
know that they
tough.
didn't want to do it anymore.
Mhm.
So what
Yeah,
so
they've
what's the
come out and said that they've wanted to, like, go their like, they've had other ventures that they've had to table
like
because
what?
they've I don't know, like that
Like
like,
what, Game Freak? What's on the
you
docket?
know, we have no idea because they're too busy making Pokemon shaped like teacups, and shaped like candelabras. So we'll
Dumbest
never know.
Pokemon in the game, dude.
We'll never know. Who's your favorite Pokemon?
Oh, my favorite Pokemon.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, it's obviously from the original 150.
Oh, you're such a Gen 1er.
Yeah, I am a gen. I'm the boomer of the Pokemon world.
Dude, that's literally a thing that happens.
What?
Like if you say that you like the original 151 the best, they're like, "Dude, you're such a Gen 1er." Gen 1 was held together with popsicle sticks and bubble
Oh,
gum.
really? Because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
I don't
They're
know.
like, "Dude, Gen 3 was obviously the best." And it's like it's
If anybody
crazy.
talks to me like that, I'm leaving the room. I'm
It's
getting
it's
out of there.
seriously so wild, like people get into
You know
that,
who
but
says that? You remember when we played Among Us together
yeah.
and that guy was like, that card task is never available on the ship on this type of whatever.
Yeah.
That's the guy that says that. And
Yeah.
then I quit. I said, "Oh, this isn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, see ya."
But who's your favorite Pokemon?
Okay. I only say the original 151 because that's as far as I got. I got to yellow version and I stopped.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. So I can't speak to the future
Yeah.
gens. Like
That's
I'm
okay.
being a responsible person and not saying some Pokemon I saw once to act like
Yeah.
I know more than I do. All right.
I mean, trust me, before you even say who yours is, I'm with you on the Gen 1 love because
Okay.
my favorite Pokemon ever is in Gen 1.
Okay. I know your favorite Pokemon.
Do you?
I do.
Okay.
I know who it is.
Okay.
Um, I am partial.
Mhm.
Okay. Original 151. I am partial to Alakazam.
Okay.
Here's why.
Okay.
I always thought it was hard to catch Abra because
Right.
he quit every battle.
Teleport. Yeah.
And then I thought it is Kadabra, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I always thought Kadabra was like pretty solidly strong
Mhm.
as a middle one. Like I thought it was kind of like a reward because the first one was so useless. So if you could struggle, if you could just like Magikarp, if you could struggle through,
Mhm. Mhm.
you were rewarded. And that's how I feel about Alakazam
So
because
Alakazam is your favorite.
that is how I feel. I thought the psychic Pokemon were the coolest. Um, I just thought I'm trying to remember who was the psychic boss from Gen 1.
Sabrina?
Is that who it is?
I think so, yeah.
She fought with one, right?
She had an Alakazam.
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Maybe I'm just in love
Sounds
with
right.
Sabrina. Let's see.
Well, I mean, okay.
Psychic psychic gym leader. Let me see. Let me see Sabrina. Yeah, that checks out. Um that yeah, so I liked the psychic battles. I liked the in the show when they Ash fought Sabrina,
Mhm.
where she would just talk. She was communicating telepathically. I thought that was sweet. I don't know. I was into it. I felt like he was
Um,
strong. How is he in terms of like strength?
yeah, I mean, he's seen as like a solid he's not, like, considered what they'd call like a pseudo legendary, to where it's like they're so strong,
I don't want that.
they're nearly a legendary, like Dragonite is considered one of those, right? Like, he's so strong,
Mhm.
and he's so cool. I don't think Alakazam is considered a pseudo legendary.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't want the
but he's
obvious choice, right?
yeah, yeah, of
I
course.
think Gyarados is dope.
Yeah.
I think Dragonite's dope. I think everyone also thinks that though. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's people out there who are like, "Dude, Dragonite's so stupid." Like, he's
dude, oh,
clearly
there's
like,
definitely
it's a
someone
good
out there who's
design, it's like a derpy Charizard. I mean, it's a good Pokemon.
yeah,
Um, did you, let me bring you into Pokemon
yeah.
lore
No, I'm here.
for a minute.
I'm here.
And I don't wanna bog down the pod with just Pokemon.
Why? That's what we're here for.
Oh,
We can
well,
talk
I
about
mean,
anything.
well, alright.
But
Uh,
there's no bogging
have you
down.
heard about until this, like, last year, Kadabra wasn't in the trading card game since 2007, 2003? I think it's 2003. He was not allowed to be in the trading card game.
Why?
Uh, Actually, maybe it was 2000. So basically no, 2002, sorry, definitely 2002.
Is he in it now
So
or still not?
he is. So what happened is there was basically this magician, like a real life magician, who
Stop.
cl dude,
Stop.
I'm not kidding you.
Stop.
I am
I
not kidding
can't.
you.
I can't.
He he claimed
Oh,
that
brother.
Kadabra was stealing his likeness. And so part of the reason why is that this magician, apparently one of his things was that he would bend a spoon, which Kadabra and Alakazam hold spoons, and
Mhm.
that's telekinesis and all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
This guy's name was Yuri Geller, okay? And in Japan, Kadabra is Jungerer. And he thought that's similar enough, and with the magic thing and the spoons, that they are like copying my likeness and getting a bunch of money off of it. So he sued them. And he won.
No, dude.
And
What's his last name?
Geller, Geller. And basically from 2002 to I want to say it's 2023, Kadabra never was featured on a Pokemon card,
Dude, what a
which is
joke.
crazy. But he changed his mind in 2020. He must have just had a change of heart
Or he had grandkids.
or something. And he sent a letter to Pokemon and said, I take it all back. I relinquish control. You can have it back. I won't press any sort of charges if you start using him again on cards. And uh that was in the year 2020. And then last year they came out, which was I guess would have been 2023. They came out with a set called 151.
That's
which
dope.
was highlighting the original 151 Pokemon, and they were allowed to have Kadabra. So Kadabra, like they did an Alakazam box, like that was like its own little promo box, and it featured Abra, Kadabra, Alakazam, bringing him back into the TCG.
I can't believe that, dude. What?
Yeah.
Geller claimed his psychic feats are the results of paranormal powers given to him by extraterrestrials. What a dope. What a dopey dope, dude. That is
So not only is this guy a maniac who thinks he has powers from aliens, he also is like so selfish and so like the fact that he thinks Kadabra's about him, that he's like gonna take that away from the entire fan base. Crazy.
so what year did he do that? You said early 2000s?
He sued in 2000, and then as of like 2002, they didn't have a card any longer. 2002, I think, was
It
the
wasn't,
last card.
I guess it wasn't as big as it was now, so the lawyers now would just never, it would never.
Probably not, no, and you know what's funny that you say he had grandkids? I'm literally reading the letter that he wrote to Pokemon, and it mentions his
Yeah,
granddaughters
I freaking knew it.
wanting to
I freaking knew
like,
it.
that's so crazy. That's so crazy, dude.
Oh, he's in the business of filing lawsuits.
Mm.
He's in the business of file. He sued Timex, the watch company. Well, he sued IKEA.
I mean, like, what was fake bending spoons with your mind not, like, enough, to keep bread on the table?
In 1999, okay, so he has a history of suing big companies.
Mhm.
In 1999, Geller okay, he didn't actually sue IKEA. Considered a suit against IKEA over a furniture line featuring bent legs that was called the Yuri line. Dude, dude, he sued
Man.
Timex because the watch didn't stop when he used his powers. Is that real?
No, there's no way. He
It's
sued Timex because he can tell time. He knows how to tell time. Watches can't do that too.
that is crazy. He also did a libel suit against other illusionists, which
Oh,
is
if they said that he
hilarious.
was faking?
Which is hilarious because everyone's scamming everyone, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So how do you like your fake magic is faker than my like what you
No way, your fake magic doesn't trump my fake
right,
magic.
right. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. So the Timex one. Geller sued Timex and the advertising firm Fallon McElliott for millions over ads showing a person bending forks and other items, but failing to stop time on a Timex watch.
Mm.
He was then sanctioned for $149,000 for filing a frivolous lawsuit.
Ooh. Yikes.
But he won the Pokemon one, dude. That is crazy.
Yeah.
What
Absolutely wild.
what a goofball.
And I will say, like, a lot of the old, like, Alakazam cards were, like, fan favorites. They looked
Yeah,
great.
because he's cool. He's a cool
They looked
Pokemon.
great. We got off on a tangent there, but it was a good tangent.
What's wrong with this? This is what this
Nothing's
is.
wrong. It was a good tangent.
Yeah, this is the whole point of the show. There is no guidance. You just roll. What was I gonna say? I had something in mind. So I know who your favorite Pokemon is.
Right.
What is the most overrated Pokemon? And why is it
Um,
Charizard? Go ahead.
so, okay, first, like, overrated, like, people think it's super strong and it isn't, or, like, overrated, like, everyone loves it, but it's not that cool?
I'm gonna say the latter.
It's definitely Charizard.
It's definitely Charizard.
Like, it has to be. Like, look, I think Charizard is cool. Like, I don't think he's the greatest, but, like, how is he not a dragon type?
What is he?
Fire. And maybe flying, but he's not dragon.
He's literally a dragon.
Yeah. And they don't say that it's crazy.
Why do they?
I mean, look, like,
Interesting.
obviously he's cool, and I think, like, the anime kind of helped perpetuate that because, like, if you remember, I don't know how much of the show you
Yeah, he
saw.
was like this, like he's like
Yeah,
he
this,
didn't
like, I'm
care. He
not
did what he wanted.
not
He couldn't be
listening to
controlled. Yeah,
authority. Like, obviously, they were pandering to teenagers,
he
like,
was an
think
angsty
about that.
teenager. Yeah,
Yeah, like, you have a bunch of young kids, 10, 12, watching this show, and they've got this Charizard that's not listening to Dad Ash, you know what I mean? And you're like, "Dude, that Charizard is so cool because he doesn't listen to his dad."
right, right,
And you're like, "I'm not gonna listen to my dad." And now you don't know how to change the oil on your car,
right.
and you're 30.
And you
So
still live with dad.
yeah, exactly. So no, I mean, like, yeah, I think obviously, like, he's definitely overrated. I mean, they put him in every card set now because they know it's gonna sell and things like that. Now, look, I still think the designs are cool. I think he's a cool Pokemon, but I don't think he's the best. I think there's a lot, that's usually not a debate, but like a discussion that people have is like what Pokemon deserves more love, especially in the TCG, like the trading card game. What Pokemon do you wish had like a cool art card that people were going for? You know what I mean? And there's lots of cool ones. There's lots of cool ones that don't get, talked about nearly as much.
So what's the most underrated Pokemon?
Dude, Kabutops to me is
Ooh,
such a cool Pokemon.
is he the one with the scythe?
Yeah. He's got scythe hands. He's got
Yes,
two scythes.
yes.
And he's like a fossil, like he's way better than the other one, which is Omastar. It's like a shell snail. I don't know what it is, but Kabutops is dope. And in early on, like Pokemon sets and stuff, they felt the same way. They gave him a lot of cool arts and like a lot of like gold star cool cards. And now I feel like nobody talks about Kabutops. He's dope. He's super cool.
So he was one of the ones you could get with the fossils, right?
Right, yeah, you chose either the Helix fossil or the other fossil, and then, you get Kabuto, or you would get Omanite, and then they each evolved one time. But Kabutops is, like, dope.
He's got the scythe hands. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was
definitely.
cool. I'm trying to think of. I always thought like the Hitmonlee was kind of cool. Like I thought Hitmonlee was a cool Pokemon.
Yeah, and this might just be you not being, like, super hip to what they've done, like, in, like, later generations of Pokemon, but they've added to that line. So, there's not just Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan anymore, which they have come so this is what's crazy. So, if this Yuri Geller is gonna sue over Kadabra, they've literally come out and said that Hitmonlee, who is good at
Bruce Lee.
kicking, is based off of Bruce Lee,
Yeah,
and Hitmonchan, who's good at punching, is based off Jackie Chan. If anything, those two people should be suing, right? No, Yuri Geller with his spoons.
well,
Um,
those guys probably appreciate the culture a little
of
bit more.
course, of course.
Yeah.
But they've added to that line. There's another one called Hitmon Top.
Ooh, headbutts.
Um, his head is like a spike, and he spins around on it like a breakdancer. And he like kicks while he's spinning. Uh,
Excellent.
and then there is a pre-evolution to all of them.
Is it one like E? E?
Yeah, yeah. So what's
Okay.
interesting is its name's Tyrogue,
All right.
and he kind of looks just like he looks like this scruffy, kind of like a scruffy little kid.
All
You
right.
know, it's like he's not great at kicking, punching, or spinning on his head. You don't know yet.
Right.
And in the game, what he evolves into is based on a certain stat. So if his attack is the highest stat, he turns into, I believe it's Hitmonchan, or no, Hitmonlee. If his which is kicking,
Mm-hmm.
if his defense is higher, he becomes Hitmonchan because you can defend yourself with your hands and block. And if I believe it's either HP or they're all even, now I'm questioning myself. He turns into Hitmontop.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, pretty cool thing they added later.
I like that line. I like those guys a lot. I always like the Growlithe
mm,
evolution was the big one.
Arcanine, yeah,
Yeah, I
Arcanine.
always thought that one was cool. Um, yeah, I thought Arcanine. Pokemon. I always kind of like Doug Lapras too. I thought he was cool
Lapras is
Pokemon.
is definitely a cool one. That obviously has no evolution or pre-evolution.
Right.
Um, later in some later gens, they came out with these pre-evolutions, right? Like I mentioned, Tyrogue.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Mr. Mime has one called Mime Junior.
Of course.
Um,
It could be a Super
Jink,
Smash character. It could be a Pokemon. We don't
yeah.
know.
Jinx has a pre-evolution called Smoochum. Um,
Of course.
Electabuzz has one called Elekid, and Magmar has one called Magby. I always thought that Lapras, Scyther, and Pinsir deserved a pre-evolution.
Pinsir's cool.
Like
Scyther's
imagine
cool. Scyther is cool.
imagine Scyther's pre-evolution is like, like a little leaf guy with scissors instead of full-blown scythes.
Right.
Like that would be cool. Pinsir having maybe one of those things on his head that has some little spikes on it instead of the two that can like capture you.
Yeah.
And then Lapras would just be adorable as a baby. So like they definitely should have done that.
They could have.
Mime Junior? Really?
Yeah. How do you think they make the choices on that? You think you got
I
to
don't
know
know.
somebody?
Yeah,
Or
I
do you
don't
think
know.
it's like a character that it didn't get a lot of love, so they're trying to make it cool?
I don't know. I mean, there's this long-standing rumor that a lot of people in the anime believe that Mr. Mime in the anime is Ash's dad. Have you heard that?
No. Why? Why?
I don't know. They
Because
have a
he's always
lot of
at home
inform
with the mom.
Yeah, and like, they never say that dad is there, all this stuff. But yeah, they have their reasons. I don't believe it, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I always thought there were some Pokemon that could get like a pre-evolution. That would
Yeah.
be pretty
I
cool.
also liked Farfetch'd. I really did.
Farfetch is
I always
cool.
carried a Farfetch'd around.
He got an evolution,
Oh,
or like a regional variant. Galarian, I think, which is like one of the games takes place in a like the name of the area is called Galar. So there's like a Galarian Farfetch'd, and then I think it evolves into one called Surfetch'd. Um, but yeah, he gets an evolution eventually.
yeah, man. It was just looking back. I mean, now that I'm looking at the full list in front of me, like when you were younger, this was so overwhelming. You're
150.
like, oh my god, yeah. At least for me, because like every new zone, town you ran into, the way that the game was made, you constantly saw a new Pokemon.
Well, and that's
Right
why
up
like
until
it
the end of the
was.
game. So there's always something to discover, or you'd like the first time hitting the Safari Zone, you're like,
Ooh,
oh my god, I can't leave
yeah.
this place ever. There's so many. I gotta. It was so
Doo-doo.
yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
Safari Zone's sick. And it was overwhelming, like especially for like kids and stuff, because like remember, like to make you remember all the Pokemon, they had to make up raps
right.
at the end of the anime. So it was like, I mean, clearly, I don't think they do that anymore. Um, and there's now over 1,000 Pokemon, so like they don't do the rap anymore. But when there was just 150, they needed the rap apparently. It was all
So
so new, we didn't know what to expect.
right.
Pokemon,
So
what a time.
dude, it's still going. It's still going, and
Strong.
it feels strong.
Yeah.
It's impossible to ignore it.
Yeah, I
That's
mean, I
part of it.
I think I think, like, it's very, like, obviously now I have kids, I have 2 little girls, and starting to go to, like, like, preschools and daycares and stuff. Fun fact, I drive around in a Jeep, and I have a tire cover that has Pokemon all over it, and I
Yeah,
can't tell you how many times I get stopped at stoplights, at daycare, and people are like, "Dude, I love your tire cover. Huge Pokemon fan.
that's sick.
Huge Pokemon fan. I
That's
still have
sick.
my old Game Boy." They tell me.
Right.
So like it's way more like not just Pokemon, but like gaming as a whole is like so much more mainstream now
Yeah.
and like not completely frowned upon, which is cool.
God, but it took some work, didn't it?
Oh boy,
It took
heavy
some more.
lifting.
It's a
Yeah,
right. We're doing the heavy lifting, right? Trying
we
to
we
get in
did.
early. and now it's cool. Like,
I was a
I don't
gamer
know.
before it was cool. I was a gamer when, and I'm sure you were too. Like when you got like beat up for gaming, like or people like, oh,
It's like, oh, I
you
play
really
video
do
games,
that.
and go. It was like saying a bad word. That people, you're like a
Well, I'm the
leper,
quarterback, and
right?
it's like, come on,
Right,
dude.
right. Although I will say, when the early multiplayer stuff came out, it was cool to
Yeah,
play Halo with
that's
friends. It
like,
was cool to play COD with friends.
I
But
think that was the big turning point.
yeah,
That was the big turning point.
when it got super action heavy and there
Hmm.
was like legit storylines, and it wasn't just like battle tanks and whatever the
Yeah, I mean
N64 was
it
rocking.
kind of turned into like with especially with like the shooters and stuff. It
Matured.
became it became what like part of the reason why some people play sports. They want to be the guy. They want to be the one like that
Mm-hmm.
carries. And it's like I can do that on Halo. I can do that on Call of Duty. I couldn't do that on Oregon Trail, you know. I couldn't do that on Pac-Man. Nobody cared.
Or pinball.
Uh, Pinball.
Well, if you had the high
Pinball Wizard?
score,
I
if you
don't
had the
know.
high score, you're
Yeah.
kind of.
There's an entire musical about it. But yeah,
That's true. That's a good point.
yeah. Yeah. I
That's
think I think people saw it as like a way to, I don't know, show off, be the best. Um,
definitely,
yeah.
it's part of how I made friends. Being younger, you talk about your KD, or you'd like get a reputation of, you're like, oh, you like invite this person to the Halo party, like they're good. Like
Dude.
the man, now I'm thinking about it, like the feeling you got when you're gaming with friends when you're younger, and they
Mm.
go, oh, he has to be by himself, he's too good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like, oh, you only get one teammate, or it's you and the worst person, because it has to balance.
Or you can't use this gun.
Yes, yes, yes,
Only we can.
yes.
Dude, I still
Yes.
you know what? No, no 10-year-old is going to be able to like live the time where like a good Saturday was like getting your 27-inch tube TV in the back of your car
And that
and
means
in your
27 inches in height and depth. That's what
uh-huh
that means.
and
On the
and
back.
putting the original Xbox in your book bag with two controllers,
And the book bag
making
wouldn't zip because
it
it wasn't
wouldn't
big
zip,
enough.
it
The
was a little
Xbox
too
was so
thick.
big, dude.
And if you were at driving age, or if you had someone drive you, the TV was rolling around in the back seat.
Yeah.
Two people had to carry it sometimes, and then you would set up, and God bless the parents of whoever let
Almost
16 kids, 4 TVs, 4 Xboxes set up in their basement.
pizza
But
grease on
man,
everything.
dude, everything. Like we would have a LAN, and we would have like we would do 32. We would set up 16, and then we would have like basically tournament A, tournament B, and then like the winners of both. I mean, it was a full day thing, and we were ordering like 20 pizzas at a time. And I mean, it was madness back in the day.
That's so.
Yo, I just remember Friday, it would be like, yo, LAN tournament at Matt's house, 2 o'clock start time. Bring a TV and an Xbox, 4 controllers, $5 for pizza.
The entry
And
fee
you
was
knew.
extra control. That's so
You
true.
knew it was such a good weekend, man.
Oh my god, it's so true. And then you and your
Amazing.
boys were just like, look, who's gonna be there? Oh, Tim's there. Oh, I mean, he's okay.
Dude,
Like, I crushed him
yeah,
every time, but
I'm not playing with Pete though. No
yeah, yeah,
way am I
yeah.
having him on my team, bro. That guy sucks with the
I swear to
sniper.
God, dude, we're not winning anything with that guy.
He camps sniper and never hits a shot,
And then
dude.
Pete's always like, I'm not that great, but I'm good at sniping. Yeah, we've heard that before, bud. We've heard that before.
Get the flag. No, I want to get a couple more kills. Pete.
Or
Yeah.
the good driver grabs the flag and the bad driver's driving, and you're like, how do we gotta switch? You stink at
Dude.
driving. Yeah.
1v1 me on Blood Gulch then.
Yeah. Takes 20 minutes because you have to walk to find each other.
Yeah.
So stupid. Oh my god, good memories. And the thing is, like that resonates with so many people. So
Yeah.
many people know exactly what we're talking about. They like pictured the exact basement. Like they know who hosted.
Yeah. What I think about too is like maybe 10, 20 years from now,
Yeah.
like they're gonna make a movie about like Nade Shot and Scump or some big names in the community, and they're gonna do that. They're gonna have the people getting in their 92 Acuras, putting the TV in the back and going place to place to show the grind, and to show people playing. And it's the same thing as like, movies you watch now where they're like going to the arcade, going to the
Yes.
pinball
Yes.
place. That's going to be what they do in these movies, talking about some of the stuff that happens. Um that's what they're going to do. And all of us when we're like 40, 45 years old and this movie comes out, you're gonna like elbow your kid and be like, "That was me. I totally did that.
Right.
That I did that, and I was like the best. I was the best that did that."
Right. Even
You
Pete's gonna be like, no, I was the boys wanted me there. Trust me.
know. No, nobody ever said I was a bad sniper.
Right.
Never. No.
Oh, that is a good place to stop. We were right at the 56-minute mark. So if you guys are ready, as you guys know, new segment, only done it for a few episodes so far, but we're gonna do 20 questions, guess that game. So Coco's got 20 questions, yes or no questions, be any game. But I will say this: all the games that I've selected, the person has played. Only games that you have played.
That I've played.
You've played this game, and
Oh, I can immediately throw out anything you've reviewed. Perfect.
yeah. So the
Perfect.
huge list, a massive list already off the board.
Nice. I feel like we're playing Guess Who right now.
Yeah, yeah. So, on your mark, I'll keep track of the number of questions, but I have the info of the game up, and whenever you're ready, you are to
Okay. 20 questions.
yes or no.
Yes or no's. Okay. Was this game released in North America after 2010?
Yes.
Okay, so it's
If you say
relatively
it right, if you're like, I knew it.
got it, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So after 2010, nothing retro. Is the game to your knowledge, a remake?
No.
No, it's its own game.
Stand alone.
Standalone. Cool. Is this game a shooter or like involve guns?
No.
No. Okay. After 2010, and it does not involve any shooting of guns.
Not a shooting focused game after 2010, North America.
Does this game highly feature vehicles?
No.
No. Did this game come out before 2020?
No.
So it's okay, it's within the last 4 years. Within the last 4 years. Here's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Have you and I played it together?
No.
No.
But
Good.
I had to think about it
Okay.
because
Okay.
we both played it.
We've both played it, but okay, but we have not played it together.
6 questions in.
6 questions in. Okay. Is this game like the only or first of its like iteration? Like for example, like is it the first or only like Halo, for example, right? Like it's
Uh,
not a sequel or a prequel, like
it is not a sequel or a prequel. One of its kind.
one of its kind.
Now,
I've
to be
mhm,
fair, we don't know if there's going to be a sequel,
sure,
but it's not
understood.
set up, to my knowledge, to be a prequel.
Gotcha. In the last 4 years, huh?
4 years.
Is this game well, you said it's only of its kind. Ooh, we could get tricky there. Is this game like an exclusive on a particular console?
Are you including PCs as consoles?
Um, so exclusive to me would be like if it was on Nintendo but also PC, that would to me exclusive, but
And if
it
that is how you say it, yes.
okay. So it's on one console
And PC.
and PC.
Yep.
Good. Good. How many questions in are we?
8.
Okay, I feel like I'm doing all right.
You have a lot of info.
I feel like I do. I feel like I do. In the last 4 years, it's quote unquote an exclusive,
Not a shooter.
not a shooter. I've played it. You've played it. We have not played it together. And it's like kind of the only of its kind.
Correct.
When I did play it,
Meaning it's
mhm,
the only game in its uh like there are games like it, but it's the only game in its universe.
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like Mass Effect is like a shooter and so is Halo. But like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
I get okay. Okay. um, would you consider this game like an RPG?
I would say there are RPG elements, but I wouldn't call it an RPG as its first genre. Meaning, like aspects you can level up, for example.
Mhm.
Yeah, an
Okay.
inventory.
Um, did this game release this year?
No,
Oh. Mm.
so that would be between 2020 and
2020 and
2023.
2023. Oh man, I thought I was on the right track of something, and now my thing's gone. My thing's gone. I thought you were going for a Pal World.
It was considered.
Ah, darn, darn. Okay. Um, would you say, in your opinion, that there is still a very large player base currently?
Um, my gut says no, but let me double check charts. Steam charts confirms no. I would not consider it.
Hmm.
11 questions. I will say this. This is
Uh-huh.
probably the most difficult game.
Difficult, like hard for me to get the answer, or it is a tough game.
Difficult as in it is not a highly publicized AAA.
Hmm. It's not highly publicized.
Yeah, it's not like when someone who doesn't play video games wouldn't be able to get.
Interesting. Interesting.
It's not your Fortnite's CODs.
Sure. Man, I feel like I have so much information, but so little information at the very same time. Um, man, I've got it dwindled down, I feel like a decent amount.
You got the time frame pretty narrowed down. You've got the exclusive aspect. You have a couple genres off the board, and you've played it.
And I've played it. That's what makes it like all that more like confusing. And it has some RPG-esque elements in it. Does this game have any like although it is first of its kind, like maybe in like chronology,
Yes.
is there other games in the world of what like oh man, I just thought of something else too, but I don't think there's RPGs. Is there other games like within the universe of it, or is it truly by itself?
By itself.
Truly by itself. How many questions am I? In am I?
12.
I th- I just thought of one.
Take a stab.
Mm, would many people describe this game as rage inducing? No.
In fact,
Holy.
the opposite.
Oh, a big clue.
Big clue.
Big clue. Is the game Palia?
It is.
Oh, the clue gave it away.
All
The
right.
clue gave it away. I was thinking
What did it? I mean, there's so many.
so the reason the ones that I've played, the reason I asked if it was rage inducing was because I was thinking of Only Up.
Hmm.
And I
That
think
was
you
also
had
being
played
considered.
that.
That's awesome.
You had all I think you had played that and I played that. Um when you first told me that we were going to do this segment, I thought you were going to go PUBG. I thought you were going to go PUBG. Um
But I
Great
think we've
times
played
playing PUBG.
PUBG together.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Before any questions, I
Oh,
thought you were
okay,
gonna go
okay.
PUBG. Um, yeah, Palia. Palia is a great game. There's a lot to that game. I hope they keep going with it. Um, Little events and stuff like that that they would do
The
were really
questing was
fun.
cool. There was like a real story to it.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting and like something that was that like, and maybe I'm just not like too far into the genre, but like something that's that quest heavy I thought was interesting that like you could eventually like woo someone in the town, you know?
Yeah.
I always think of that like aspect of a game like The Sims, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
um but like that adventure, yeah, I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." Um
Well, I hope the clue didn't give it away too much.
for me it kind of did because I don't play that many relaxing games.
Okay.
But I think I
Power World
probably
was
would
my
have
other
gotten
choice.
yeah, I think I probably would have gotten there regardless, but
You were like you were pretty
I
close
was
though.
tiptoeing around. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
tiptoeing.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's for sure been like the most, niche.
That was a good one.
That was
That
a
was a
good
good
one.
one.
Congrats, man. Well, that ends the episode. That's a good place to stop. Again, before we head out, let the people know where they can find you, your handles, anything special that you want to promote. We know you're doing the Extra Life 24-hour stream in and around November time, so keep that in the back of your heads. But go ahead.
Yeah, thanks again for having me here. Obviously, I think this is boy, we've been on pods for how many now? We've done a couple.
32.
I mean together. I mean together.
3 or
We've done
4, I think.
we've done a couple now, and it's always fun. Time always flies when we're doing it.
Oh, fact.
But oh no, it's Coco on YouTube, all one word. Um, Also on TikTok and Instagram, or not Instagram, TikTok and Twitter by that name. Instagram is at Coco Games. Um, Pokemon content, TCG stuff. Yeah, that's basically it, man.
Um, well, that's great to hear. You guys can find me at Ghost Stories Gaming or Ghost Plays Games on all things socials, reviews, short form. Obviously, the Midnight Release podcast, episode 32 is in the books. Make sure to check that out if you guys want more episodes, especially with Coco and often with our friend Patterson Pax, who is another big Pokemon guy, big Fortnite guy. And we will catch you guys on the next episode.
Bye, everyone.